Which email?
I am calling the meeting to order at noon, and would like to recognize Dan Zambreski.
Hello, Dan.
And our BCTV personality. Waive the mention of the rules of procedure, except to mention that at the VLCT town fair last week, it was recommended that not only did the select board adopt rules of procedure for the convenience of the board and the public and to know what's expected, but also other boards and commissions should adopt either the same rules or like or similar rules. So I'm going to send that note out to people when I summarize my notes from the VLCT seminars. Are there additions to the agenda this afternoon?
I have none.
None. Are there changes to the agenda order today?
Nor do I have any of those.
Anybody else? So the first item on the agenda is to
They're backwards.
approve the minutes from the meeting of Monday, August 28th. Were we all here? We all were. So we've had, I think, ample time to review the edits that Peter's made. So is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Gordon?
Second.
Gordon,
Good.
Richard?
All in favor, right, all in favor.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I'm gonna pass these around, but I'm also gonna ask the same question about the minutes for the meeting of Monday, September 11th. Everybody had a chance to review, and
So
is
moved.
there a motion?
Second.
You guys are all in sync, thank you. And let's see, who could do
Vote
that?
on it, please.
The last.
Sorry?
Vote on that one, please.
I'm going to. I'm just gonna see who can vote. We all can vote because we were all here. So, could we, all in favor of accepting the minutes from Monday, September 11th?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Third set of minutes, Monday, September 25th. We were all here. We've also all had them in our folders to look at. Is there a motion to accept the meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Richard. Gordon. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Dan, highway update. Here you are in your new place on the agenda again.
Yes, up front, we're still setting culverts, blowing leaves, grading roads. What else have we been doing? Just the same old routine stuff. The paving is all done.
Looks
They-
good.
They came in and did then one got done paving and they came in and did the center lines. The only thing I am gonna do is I talked to the outfit that did the center lines, and I'm gonna have them do the fog lines this year.
The ones on the side of the road?
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
getting a
good.
price, they're gonna call me back with a price, and let me know what it is.
Great.
And then I got Tri-State, or not Tri-State, but, one of the locals up here that does the line striping is gonna be going around putting all the stop bars at the end of the roads and stuff, so, Chris is
What
gonna
are
be.
stop bars?
We're like on the Hollow Bridge, it says stop ahead.
Oh,
They're
right,
gonna-
right,
They're gonna
okay,
put
got
them,
it.
put them on, so, and basically that's about it. I mean, we've got some shoulder work to do on the new pavement. Then just get ready for winter, start putting plow frames on and servicing the equipment and,
Ugh.
yeah, that'll be here before you know it.
Doesn't seem like it.
I know.
Thank you.
And I do have, I see here, 2 applicants.
Mhm.
One is a new pain, the other guy's here local.
One is New Faith?
Yes.
Okay.
And that's the only ones I've received so far, so I mean, it's,
So you might just say for the camera that we are looking for a road crew member.
we are looking for a
Recruiting.
new member for the highway department, so.
And the job description and the information about the application are on the town website
Correct.
and available in the town office.
Also correct.
So,
And it's a great job.
under a great guy.
Well,
Dan, I wanted to ask if you could stay around for the discussion updates, because
Yeah,
much
I'll
of
be-
those about the road stuff.
Yeah, I'll
So,
be around.
okay, thank you. Thank you. So, new business, Peter, working with GAA.
So that's
Oh,
Greenberg's.
Art-
Yes.
Whoa.
So
okay.
Greenberg's Associates are architects, as you know, you chose them to do the work. So I received an email which I shared with all of you. And Chip was wondering, he had a number of tasks, and he was wondering if the select board would approve the order of the tasks that he presented to you, which was to prepare a draft AIA agreement to draw up, and then while that is being drawn up, for a couple of his staff to come out and review the existing conditions of the building, and then begin coordinating a schedule with myself and their engineers that they had listed in their proposal, and then to start meeting with you as a select board to begin reviewing the priorities and consider potential steps for phasing of the program, as this is something we had indicated to them, that due to the overall cost of the project would likely best fit in with the town's budget. And then overall discuss scheduling options, as I have communicated with him that our budgeting season starts soon, and so we will be scheduling other meetings for you all, on top of the select board meetings that exist, and so it may be complex and busy for everyone. So anyhow, that is basically what he's been waiting for this for like a week and a half now, so wondering if there could be some form of approval of this, or if you wanted to wait to have the contract drawn up prior to the other steps being taken.
Did Gabby weigh in on this?
She did weigh in on this. Her opinion was to wait until we had a formal contract that was agreed upon.
But we have a process of negotiating that contract. I'm just looking to remind myself what we agreed on in terms of the process. It's probably one of those minutes, but I was also looking at some. I'd like to suggest that this be discussed and decided on. Is that what this is here, this letter?
That is correct, yep.
Okay, and then,
Can I
are
see
you
that
looking
letter?
at the
Of
minutes
course, Gordon is looking at the minutes.
to see if we had something from
Why
the
don't you
last?
look at the other ones? I'm looking at one set here.
You could give me one set.
The main thing that Chip pointed out with approving this is his primary concern, not that he foresees it being an issue, but if he sends a couple of his employees out here to start doing some initial building assessment or structure assessment, that if, say, we get a month or 6 weeks down the road and we have not been able to negotiate a contract, he just wanted confirmation that he would be compensated for any work that they would do outside of the established contract. That was his concern for having the select board approve this.
Doesn't it, I mean, it seems to me very logical that these things would go, that this is in our favor, that it benefits us, that he wants to get these things done before a formal contract is signed. Because then because some of this information will go into the contract, I presume.
That is part of his thinking. The other thing is they are very interested in getting this begun as soon as possible. But his other explanation was that they wanted to be as prepared as possible in presenting you with a contract, as well as once that is signed, that we can sit down and start doing what's necessary without having to wait for him to do all the preliminary work, which is what is proposed in that.
Right, I mean, if you look at bullet number 4, review program priorities with you to consider project phasing options, that would end up in a contract.
Absolutely.
So,
Exactly, and it would give us a better understanding for the contract of what is necessary and
Exactly.
needed from the financial side
Yeah.
for it. So I understand, I think Gabby's apprehension in throwing something out there perhaps, but I feel that we should move forward.
Right,
with this.
and we would prepare a draft owner-architect agreement, which would be
Correct,
an agreement that he's going to do the work and we're going to hire him.
I
exactly.
mean, another thing I think is that as one of the reasons, I mean, we know from the process of choosing this firm that they have a very well-established reputation. All of the references
Right.
came back as exceptionally positive. 2 of the 3 referees have already rehired the firm to do additional work. So I think that speaks. I don't think he's going to shortchange us. I don't
Oh,
think
I
he's going to
don't
do
either.
anything
No,
like
he has a
that.
sterling record.
Exactly.
So I'd like to, I think we can agree that this makes sense, but I also would like to just say that we wrote to them that we would like to begin negotiating the detailed scope of the project, including, but not limited to,
Okay.
budget priorities, timeline, and communications with the town residents. So this letter is in response to
Right.
our
Yep.
awarding the contract to them and the things that we requested. And so I think we could have a motion, it's not in the minutes, that was in September. I think it would be, we could have a motion to approve this process and begin the test.
I so move.
To approve the process of, what are we gonna call this?
Pre-contract,
Pre-contract discussions, in order to,
as laid out in the
More-
letter, in
as-
Greenberg's
as
letter of that
September
date.
27th, in order to move forward on the contract.
Second.
Okay. Any more discussion?
No, I'm sorry that I didn't really get to hear what Gabby's point of view was. But I feel okay about going forward. I mean, as much as anything, because of the reputation and experience that we've had with this firm.
No, and I agree with you. I mean, I'm not sure, I mean, other than what Peter said, if there was something else that Gabby felt strongly about, perhaps she would have gotten in touch with us, you know, in some form,
Yeah.
but.
But also, this is pretty much what we agreed on in the
Yes,
prior
it is.
I
select meeting.
agree.
And-
I don't
and
know why the reluctance, but.
So, all in favor?
Aye.
I will notify him then.
Thank you. In terms of old business, we have, we did have a select board work session on Thursday, October 4th, was that last week? To discuss, and to do some more exploratory work on the Wyndham Solid Waste Management District and our status in that district, as a member in that district. We still are in the exploratory stages, still need to do a lot of work on the cost, the impact to the town, any benefits to the town of staying in versus exiting. And we have, I think, agreed to meet, to have a public hearing on this, and to say that the select board, while legally able to make a decision on this, to take an action on this decision about whether we stay in the Wyndham Solid Waste District or exit the district, we feel that this should be a town-wide vote
Agreed.
that would take place at town meeting in March of 2018. And in order to get ready for that, we are going to hold a couple of public discussions, one of which will be on September 15th.
Wait, November.
November
November
15th, yes.
That's right.
2017, November 15th, 2017, in the same public information session as the floodplain administrator, Steve Lemke, presents information about the proposed floodplain bylaws. So that public hearing will start at 6:30, and it will be at the Guilford Center School. And we hope lots and lots of people come. There's a lot of information we don't have, a lot of information we're trying to get, a lot of input we don't have from people in town that we would like to have. And it's just something that we need to discuss as a town, not in this more limited setting.
What do you think about having a PowerPoint?
I think
With a few
Peter and I
slides.
will work on doing something for that.
Yeah.
I've started thinking about it. And I'm hoping there'll be some facility at the school for that. But we also need to be mindful that the floodplain bylaw is an important issue as well. So I think we need to be efficient in terms of presentation of information, and we'll try to get stuff out electronically somehow to people before the 15th. But we need to be mindful of the time the town needs to discuss the floodplain bylaw
Correct.
as well. Knowing that it's a school night, a Wednesday evening, it's hard to get people out, but I think it's important.
Well, and luckily, if the town is going to vote on this in March, then it will be, this will be the first opportunity to have a formal presentation and discussion with everybody, but there will also be time to disseminate more information and request more input before March.
Yeah, I feel like this is gonna be more exploration and discovery at this point than concrete information, because it's kinda hard to come by the concrete information. We're guessing and weighing lots of different maybes, things that could and could not happen, so. And Cheryl, I think, gave us more information, which Peter and I are gonna talk about tomorrow, and then we'll send it out to the select board, and we'll figure it. The first little article about the public forum itself is going in the Gazette, so that'll come out on November 1st, I think.
Terrific.
So, and then we'll try to do things in other public forum as well. So that's the Wyndham Solid Waste, and then, Peter, you were gonna talk about Algiers, or Veranda, Algiers Fire District and Guilford's.
Yeah, so as you all know, the town has been providing what has been termed as financial services to Algiers Fire District for a number of years now. And without a formal written contract, there was a verbally agreed upon annual cost for these services, and with some changes within Algiers Fire District of recent, they have also been needing to utilize some of my skills and time. And at the present time, we don't have anything set up between them. And they have also been considering what is best for them as a group, and had been considering whether or not they want to formalize the agreement with the town, or if they want to move in a different direction and hire someone who can provide administrative and financial services as a complete package. And over several meetings that Veranda and Gabby and I have attended, the Prudential Committee has indicated that they believe that the overall stored knowledge within the staff members of the town office is highly valuable to them, and they don't want to lose that knowledge by going out elsewhere to hire someone else. And with that, they would like the town to create a draft contract moving forward with them that would outline the financial services that we offer, as well as what kind of services I could offer to them. So that would have to be negotiated amongst you guys as to what you see as realistic, and then present that to them for their review.
And what's the time frame on that?
They are hoping within the next month is their preference. If they understand if that's not realistic within our time frame, but that is mine. I don't know if you got a different impression than that, Veranda. That was my impression from what they were talking about.
No, my impression was that the sooner we could come up with an arrangement, the better. And I just wanted to add that they're a hardworking group of volunteers who have a complicated job that has nothing to do with fire at all. This was a big aha for me. This is the group that handles essentially water drainage, from what I understand, and I think that they were very grateful for select board members and Peter to come to their meetings, and that this will help them just get their procedures more streamlined.
So the time would it be time that they want from you that's out of your town administrator time?
That's correct. So what what Gabby and Veranda and I discussed with them is that the proposal would likely, for sure would be that the hours spent would be, because they are a separate municipality from the town, that this would be outside my regular work schedule for the town. And so they would also then be billed at my overtime rate, is what the proposal likely would be.
Up until now, we've been reimbursed, the town's been reimbursed, if I understand this
Town has
correctly.
a monthly income
For the town administrator to do some of this work.
for
That
the town clerk's office
The
to
town-
do the work.
not-
not
Oh, I
the
didn't
town
realize that, I
administrator.
thought
So
the
it's
town
been Pete
administrator.
and then
did
Pete or
that.
Ellie who do the work, and there's a, I don't know where that folder is, but
Okay.
you
It's
may
over
find
there.
this interesting. There's a folder that I put together of all the organization documents and the work that the town has done historically for Algiers Fire District on the complete list of financial tasks.
Gotcha.
Those were done previously for a set fee, a monthly fee, by the treasurer's office.
Yep.
And are you suggesting that you now take over 100% of
Nope,
those?
I
That
take-
you
No,
leave
this
that
is-
stuff there?
This is separate. This would
Okay.
remain with those
Okay.
individuals in the treasurer's office. And this would be in addition to that, because, I mean, historically Katie had done a lot of work for them, and the town was not compensated for the work that Katie had done for them. And that's part of the complexity of the whole.
Right.
And in
situation.
2016, the select board said Katie could no longer do that
That's
work
correct.
because she didn't have the time to do it.
Right.
Correct.
So they've been without that kind of sort of overall administrative and operational support for about 2 years now.
Correct.
And it's my understanding that the kinds of things that Katie was helping them with, which a previous select board talked about some time ago, is the assistance that they would appreciate getting again.
Correct.
And that our concern was that Peter is already at a max with his 40 hours.
Right.
And so that he could not do this
Within his.
within
Within
his,
the 40 hours.
Correct.
40 hours, but it would have to be billed to the
Yeah.
Algiers Fire District at a
Whatever, right.
Whatever that rate is.
at his overtime rate.
Now, some of this was being at the meetings and taking notes and that kind of stuff.
That does,
correct?
nope, it does not entail that.
No.
They have a
Okay.
clerk that handles all of that.
Okay.
That is, they're looking for, so the fire district is the most basic form of municipal incorporation within the state. And so, I certainly concur with Veranda that all of these individuals involved with it are very hardworking,
Right.
but their personal, professional lives don't
Okay.
necessarily reflect a full understanding of the changing laws within the state, as well as what is within their rights and abilities to accomplish as the fire district. And so,
So maybe in part of this proposal will be an outline of what will be required or what your
what they're most,
description of what you would be used for.
that is certainly something that it could be done. The way that they are looking at doing it, because they don't foresee having a need for my services, say every month
Right.
or even every quarter. And so having it set as, the contract set as something to the effect of, having the town administrator provide, XYZ services for this amount per hour up to a maximum of, 10
X.
hours a month or 20 hours a quarter or whatever that they feel is financially within their budget.
Which is good, but I also don't want it to, infringe on the town administrators.
That's why it's going to be outside of or in addition to my 40 hours that I put in for the town.
I guess I'd like to see a contract with something that was a little bit better explained as to the role and responsibility of the town administrator. I understand it's outside the daily time frame, but I don't want to have a person in this position who maybe is the town administrator who isn't willing to do that.
Sure.
If the hours or the expectation, they don't fit within that realm.
Sure.
Just like these individuals' professional experience doesn't necessarily fulfill that. So that's my only concern.
Absolutely.
So I think
that's
just
a
spelling
legitimate
it
concern.
out would be helpful.
Yeah.
Good.
So am I hearing that it would be good to have a draft contract for the select board to
Yes.
look at?
Well, I
at
think
the
you
next
guys should
meeting?
look at it
Yeah.
before it's presented to them.
Okay.
Yes, I agree.
So
In consultation, I'm not sure if they were perfectly clear on what they needed from you.
They made that
And-
clear, yeah.
And so conferring with them to create the job description that the contract would cover
Correct.
would be helpful. And your discernment will be useful
Exactly,
in that
working
way of just before you bring it to us, think about what would it be like to do this. And also, I think as the procedures are more familiar to them, that it could be that they'll need less from you.
Absolutely.
I see it sort of going in an arc, like it will
Exactly.
start, evolve, and then gets moved out.
Taper off.
I kind of got that impression from what Mike and Herb were talking about as
Yeah.
well, that they'll need more, not quite like a bell curve, but they'll need a little more assistance up front, and then it'll eventually taper off and be only a few things a year.
Good. I
And
think
we
that's
have-
great.
And they'll be enumerated in the contract.
We have a drawer full of files that are now more or less organized to draw
Which is
from.
awesome.
So-
Thank you for pulling that all in. Thank you guys for attending.
Yeah,
the
I'm
meeting.
glad that
So,
we're
I
back
mean,
on
Sheila
track.
and I can, and maybe with Veranda and Gabby as well, since you've been at all the meetings, you know, can draft something and then present it
Perfect.
to
That'd
all
be
the
great.
entire select board.
Great.
Yeah,
Thank
be
you.
glad to
Thank
help.
you.
So for discussions, updates, we have the Better Back Roads. We have a few grants, just that we just want to make sure we are all on the same page about what
Yep.
the status is right now. So the Better Back Roads is
Grants or proposals, they're
grants. These are
Nope.
the grants that we were awarded.
Well, we haven't received the state disaster grant, but yeah. So Better Back Roads, you guys did start some work on it, and then it had to pause because you were doing a million and one other things, correct?
We're hopefully next week I'll have this over here by the brick schoolhouse all done.
Okay,
And
great.
that grant is in how much?
That's $20,900.
Yeah.
By the
We-
old schoolhouse, the
Or
carpenter.
sorry, the Better Back Roads. Sorry, that's the grants and aid. We went a little backwards. The one over by the schoolhouse is grants and aid
Through Wyndham
to
Regional.
Wyndham Regional.
Yeah. And then the Better Back Roads grant's the one on
Is
Stage
that,
Road and Sweets Pond.
is that 20,900?
The grants and aid is $20,900, and then the Better Back Roads was $40,000 for Stage Road and $20,000 for Sweet Pond Road.
And that's the one you're starting work on next week.
Well, that depends on the negotiations with.
Yeah, both contractors said they wouldn't be able to start it for at least another week to 2 weeks, so.
And just a sentence about what the Better Back Roads grant covers for people who don't know.
I mean, it's helping Guilford bring our class 3 roads up to the new state standards as best as is reasonable to do
So what's gonna be done?
For water quality.
for water
Water
quality.
quality.
Ditching is
So it's
the Stage
ditching and
Road.
culvert.
It's gonna be a little ditching, a little bit of stone line ditching, and all new culverts on both sides of
On Stage Road.
on Stage Road. Then on Sweets Pond Road, the lower end from Burkowski and Campbell Road is gonna be stone line ditch. And then the upper end is gonna be all grass line ditch. And that's the one they're gonna give us an extension on,
So we can do that in the spring.
do that in the spring for next year.
So a grass line ditch is to
Just
absorb the water.
swale it out, get
Yeah.
grass growing, get some burnt, what they call check dams, so that
Right.
slow the water up so it don't
Yeah.
erode.
Sure.
And what road is the grants and aids cover?
Before we get to the grants and aid, I just wanted to say to both Peter and Dan, thank you so much for making sure we didn't lose
That's a lot of
those
money.
funds to the towns, because that's
$80,000.
really terrific that it's contributing to our road work, so thank you both. Now, you had a
It's a
question
big
about
deal.
the state disaster grant. Sorry,
No,
grants
Grants
and
and
aid.
aids, what road was that?
So we had talked about that at, I don't know if it was the last select board meeting or the previous one, or the one prior to that, I mean. So this is something that, it was a grant that Gabby and I filled out together, and then we submitted to Wyndham Regional, who then submitted it to the state. And this is, so Emily Davis from Wyndham Regional came out, and Dan and Emily and myself went around to review sections of road that Dan thought were most concerning regarding potential
Flooding.
washouts and flooding. And so, he identified 5 sections, I believe, for Emily, and then she completed the proposal and they were approved. And so the first section, so you have to, the work is being done in 100-meter segments to bring that section of the road up to the new standards. So they're currently working on a section over by the old brick schoolhouse on Carpenter Hill. There's gonna be another section a little further up from there, and several others. And so,
We got two spots on Bonneville Road.
yep.
Where did you come up with 80,000?
Well, no, I was
It
including,
40,000.
I heard 40,000 for Stage Road, 20,000 for Sweet Pond, so
Yep.
there's 60, plus the 20 for the Grandson Age was 80,000,
Yep,
that's what I
Oh,
was saying.
so the
In-
Better
in
Back Roads
grants.
is 40 plus 20.
That's
correct.
my understanding.
Yes, that is
of what I
correct.
heard.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's, the Better Back Roads is 60,000 in total.
Okay.
So I was just saying, that's a lot of money.
Yeah,
for
no, I would have
support.
hated to have lost it.
I'm
So
glad
I'm
Sheila
so happy that everybody
Noted
was
that
working
Peter
on
and
this.
Dan worked so hard on this,
Yeah.
because that's a lot of money.
Yeah, and
And the other thing that they're both working on is the state disaster grant that we're
Yes, so-
hoping.
we finally heard from Megan, and they, as Dan informed me.
Megan Brunk of,
from V-Trans,
thank
sorry,
you.
that they're probably gonna be delayed at least 3 months before they can come out and do our hydraulic study up on Carpenter Hill Road. So
Okay.
she advised me to inquire with the other, with the state disaster grant as to whether or not we can continue to, if we have a formal notification from V-Trans that their process is delayed, include that with our grant application for this project.
Oh,
Recommendation by the state pending.
Yeah,
ah,
so that was
That should
her
be
recommendation.
supportive, right.
Yeah, so she
That
was
was
supportive of us doing that to make sure that. you
and
know,
this
that-
is a conversation you had.
Yes, I know they've been out and marked the 2 culverts.
Right.
It's flagged.
Oh, I saw that
She
today.
says they got such a backlog right now. She said, apply for the grant, put in there just pending on state recommendations for replacements.
Great.
And surely we're not the only town that's in that position.
Oh, absolutely
if
not.
they're behind, so they'll be getting a stack of those.
That would be the presumption, you know, because we're not the only town that was affected by that major rainstorm this summer, amongst others. So, you know, and it's been identified as a location in which it will be future problems because the 2 culverts up on the top of Stage Road are undersized and, as Dan pointed out.
Stage Road or Carpenter Hill?
Sorry, Carpenter Hill, thank you. It's Carpenter Hill, you're correct. But as Dan pointed out, this 2 culverts are undersized, and one of them now sits cockeyed because of how the brook has changed direction.
Oh,
Which
The same
causes-
thing's gonna happen again,
Exactly.
unless we address it, right, Dan?
And then, just before we get to the Green River Covered Bridge, I will say that 2 weeks ago, last week, Peter and I had a meeting with Rich Cogliano, who's the Vermont Department of Energy Management, Homeland Security and Energy Management. And we learned about, just at that meeting or a little bit before, about some hazard mitigation grants that have a lot to do with roads as well. And Rich has got back to me with some information which I have not yet had a chance to share with Peter or you, but I think we have a reasonable chance of getting some more hazard
Awesome.
mitigation
Good.
grants that have to do with the roads. So we just have to be pretty aggressive about getting another grant application in before the end of October, I think, but I'm not sure about the date yet, so we'll work on that. Okay.
And then, this is probably a month ago now, we had someone report that at the west end of the Green River Covered Bridge, that there were a number of boards that were squeaking and thunking and making noises when you exited the bridge going west. Dan went down and took a look at them and noticed there were several loose boards, correct?
Well, no, it's just one board on the Addison's end,
Okay,
and it's only when you hug, it's the whole, it's like a 2x8 that goes across before you hit the concrete abutment. When you hug the left-hand side, going through the bridge towards Addison, it makes a thump noise, it's loose.
Yep.
so,
We swept the bridge that day and we checked all the boards and the nails and everything was tight, but I think it just may be drying out a little bit and it's starting to do one of these numbers maybe. So,
so
There's not a
I,
lot we can do about that. or-
I had been told that supposedly that there was a warranty on the project that was supposed to expire at the end of this month. I contacted Wright Construction, who had done all the work on this bridge, and they were actually surprised to hear that, and so they went back and reviewed all of the contracts, all of the information from the state. They've done a lot of bridge work for the state, and to date, they had said that no state project had ever been warrantied, and they took 3 or 4 days and reviewed all the documents from the project and found no warranty. That being said, they are very proud of their work, and they said that they're backed up at the moment, but if they would have Dan and his crew take a look at it, they would schedule an appointment sometime mid to end of November when they're doing another project in our region to come review it, because they want to stand by their work,
Good,
regardless of whether or not there's a warranty.
right answer.
So am I understanding that your next step is just to advise them what Dan has observed?
No, the next step is they were going to contact me because they were waiting on final awarding of this contract down here in Windham County. And so when they had to wait for the final award before they
have
could,
someone down
for
here.
them to schedule their engineers to start the,
Yeah, I just thought it might be
Process.
helpful for them to know what to be looking for, based
I
on
already told-
intelligence from Danny.
so Dan had already gone and looked at the bridge and told me what he just shared before I heard back from them, because the engineer at Wright that I spoke with, he and I were playing phone tag for a few days. So he's fully aware of what the situation is and has noted it. So I'm just waiting to hear when they have an engineer available to look at it.
Okay.
So I have a question. Was it a surprise that there were no warranties on this work, or were we to understand that that they take pride in their work and they'll stand by it, but that it's not traditional to have legal warranties on it?
So they were surprised that that somebody had been, within the town had been told there was a warranty. That's what they were surprised by.
Because they don't warranty their work.
Yeah, well, because it's a state.
The state
project.
doesn't require.
The state does not warranty the work.
warranty.
And so that the state does not require their contractors to warranty the work either. But Wright Construction as a business wants to make sure that their clients are satisfied.
I should hope so.
Right, well, it's sort of old-fashioned honorable.
Yes,
You know,
exactly.
the handshake sort of thing.
Exactly.
So I suppose
It's
we're
nice.
good with that.
And it sounds like it will be addressed, so that's also.
Yeah,
Oh, he guaranteed me that it
Yeah.
would be, at minimum, they would have an engineer come and look at it to make sure there are
Figure
no
out
issues. Yeah.
Great.
And was that your sense too, Dan, when you looked at it, that it wasn't?
We swept it, and there were several cars that went through it, and you didn't hear the boards. I happened to notice it when I went through the 1-ton, when I was going over to Grade and Rake over there, and it was a little heavier truck.
yeah.
That's when I noticed it was on the end of on that end, so.
Awesome. Okay,
Terrific, great
so
work, everybody.
moving right through towards the end here. I think we're okay, Dan, if you want to
Yeah,
not
you're
sit while
good.
we do payroll.
Thank you, Dan,
We all
for staying.
set?
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you so much.
Thanks, Dan.
So I'd like to make the motion to approve our payroll week ending 10/1/17 for $13,038.64. Payroll week ending 10/8/17 for $5,195.25. Expense warrant number 1807 for $222,254.12. And for expense warrant number 7CC for $8,328.72 for a grand total of $248,816.73, of which the majority of expense warrant 1807 of the $222,254 is $175 of which we $175,000 of which we just had the current paving on the center road. That's
I
what
was
it consists
wondering.
of. So it was a big number, but the road looks tremendous. We also had a $16,000 tax bill for the town to the state,
Nope, the county.
the county, excuse me, in that. So those are the two big items that were included in that.
Great. I second.
Richard, thank you. I would just say that one of the expense warrants 07CC is a pass-through that we are, this is the grant, this is the
correct.
community
Oh, I
development
didn't know.
grant
For CC for June.
free.
$8,328, $8,328,072. I'm sorry, I just noticed it. That it's not coming out of our budget, it's money that came in, it's an expense reimbursement grant.
Yep.
And so it's going out on behalf of CC4G, and the town is administering that grant, so, yeah. And the $175,000 is actually coming out of last year's budget, not this year's, because we weren't able to complete that work in the fiscal year 2017, right, 18,
Yes, no,
sorry,
it was correct.
fiscal year 2018.
17.
17, we're not in 18, right, yeah. So we're pretty good in terms of where our 18 budget looks,
Wonderful.
what it looks like. So, any discussion
Of the warrants.
of the warrants? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Does anybody wish to say anything about outstanding items before the select board?
Oh, I just wanted to say something nice about the Recreation Commission.
Good.
That their new member, Jake Dixon, has brought a lot of, experience and energy. And there's a meeting tonight, and Billy Koch is coming, the skier,
Oh,
to
for
talk
heaven's
about,
sakes.
to his old hometown.
Yeah.
To talk about the ski trail, the cross-country trail that he used to take when he went from Deer Ridge Farm to the Guilford School as a sort of a preview to possibly having that turn, to look at having ski trails in the town. But there's a lot of good energy on that commission and a lot of effort toward getting all these groups toward working together. The Conservation Commission, the Recreation Club, the Playscape.
Mhm.
There's a lot of positive energy in that direction, and that's good.
That's awesome.
So, Miranda, thank you for being the liaison and for bringing this information back to us also, because that's pretty impressive. They have a great Facebook presence, by the way. And I would like to say one more thing that I forgot to say under, whatever this is, GAA, Greenberg Associates Architect. I just wanted to read part of the first paragraph. They got a useful rating score for the evaluation categories for the RFP, and said, we've never received that kind of detailed information before, and I appreciate your candidness in
Yes.
providing it. So
I agree.
That is very good.
the proposal criteria evaluation, which Peter created,
Yep.
and Gabby or you mostly, I think, and worked a lot on trying to to assess all the proposals that we got. We got comments from other.
Yeah, we received comments from two of the other
Oh, really?
So
submitters.
three-
It's very similar to what
Yep.
Chip said.
That's
Three of
awesome.
the five respondents to the request for proposals liked the request for the proposal itself, and the fact that we evaluated them according to the criteria that we said we were going to, and that we provided that feedback information to them. So I think, congratulations.
Yes,
to-
I
Yeah.
agree, and that stood out to me when I read that as
Yeah.
well, and I should have said something, so.
So, and I'm sorry. So
Thank
I
you,
just
Sheila.
Took us
No,
a
they-
little off track, but.
No, it's okay. The three respondents did say that, in their previous work, most people, all they do is submit to them questions that other submitters have asked about the project, but no feedback after the project is concluded and they've received whatever decision that it is that they received. And they all commented that it will certainly impact future proposals that they do for other municipalities. So
That's great.
they highly valued it.
Well done.
And I think I could safely entertain a motion
I so
to
moved.
Second.
adjourn the meeting at 12:44.
Yes, it will be so entertaining.
Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.